Greetings, YouTubers and truck camper enthusiasts. How's everybody doing today? Well, made a video the other day talking about full hookups, the Lowdown, and there were a couple of other things that had came to mind after I made that video, and I overlooked a couple of very important things, and I wanted to share a couple of other items with you all. So let's go ahead and do that. So I wanted to talk about having one of these adapters. These are a 30 amp to 15 amp adapter, 30 amp to 15 amp adapter. You can get them in this style here. I think this one came from Harbor Freight. And then you can also get these small little adapters like this one here, 30 amp, 15 amp. These ones are kind of nice because I keep in here, but I really like these ones here. It just gives you a little bit of extra room, especially if you're going to plug it into a portable generator. So these are another really important things to have when you're out there, and you may not have a 30 amp service. You might only be able to get the 15 amp, or you have a portable generator that you carry with you, portable Honda generator or what have you. So that's another important thing in your hookup arsenal to have with you. They've got a couple different connections. They even sell adapters that go from 30 amp to 50 amp. Maybe you pull into a park and all they have is 50 amp service. That doesn't happen too often, to my knowledge. It's generally 30 amp is what's most common, but I have heard stories of some parks they've just got 50 amp. So getting one of those converters that go from a 50 to a 30 would be another important thing to have. So that's another important consideration, and you're definitely going to want to make sure that you're carrying the right adapters with you. Alrighty, so the first thing that I want to show you guys is these two containers that I have here. I store these in the basement, and one of the containers is what I keep the drinking water components in, and then the other one is some of the sewer hose components. So we'll go ahead and start with the drinking water components here. In this tub container, this is where I keep the hot water tank rinser. I keep a couple of extra water filters. I keep the potable water fill hose. So you definitely will need one of these to fill up the freshwater tank when you're going to go boondocking. And then I keep the water banded in here. This is a great tool to hook up to faucets that have stripped threads or different hose, different thread dimensions that you don't have. So you would just hook this up to your drinking water hose, and you could just thread this on to whatever spigot that you find. This is a really important thing to have. You may come across rest stops like I have, rest areas, or where you need to fill up with water, and they may not have any threads on there, which I've ran into. So if you have this tool, you can plug it in and you can get water with this. So extremely important thing to have. And the next thing that I have is a blowout plug. And this would be for the use of blowing out the air lines in the wintertime if I'm going to be storing the camper, or I'm going to, for whatever reason, want to blow out all of the water out of the entire plumbing system on the rig. This is the tool to use. And the way that this works is you thread this into your city water valve, and then you would hook on a compressed air line to this compressed air hose fitting and just blow the entire system out. If you do this, you want to make sure that you don't exceed 40 or 50 psi on your air hose when you're blowing out the system, or you could potentially blow out seals and blow out some of the fittings and connections. So that's an important thing. And like I said, I keep these in these little containers, and the reason for that is, well, number one would be water leakage, and then the next thing would be contamination. I don't want to contaminate anything. So these little plastic containers have been working out, they've been working out good for me, and they stack, and they fit perfectly inside of the basement here on the Northern Light. The next container is going to contain all of the sewer hose related items, and some of the things I have in here are one of these little slinky dinky hoses, which I absolutely despise. They're pretty much good for nothing as far as I'm concerned, but I do keep them in the event of a backup, or we've got a hose breakage, or maybe I'm out there and there's another fellow RVer that's ran into some problems with their hose, and they might need a backup one to get them by. So what the hell, I keep an extra one of these in here. This is also one of these bayonet fittings that you would put into here, and then it's got one of these. I think this is called a bayonet style fitting. These cam lock fittings with the gasket. So this would go with this hose, and then this guy here is a sewer hose flusher rinser. So typically the way this works is after you have finished dumping your black tank and you want to flush out your sewer hose, you would connect this to water service, and then this connects to the end of the sewer hose, and then you literally just it sprays water inside the hose and it flushes everything out. I did a little bit of research on flushing the sewer hoses and flushing and rinsing the black tank out. An excellent video and source that I would go kind of study up on that is if you go to the Fit RV YouTube channel, the Fit RV. The gentleman there did some extensive testing on cleaning and rinsing out black tanks and also rinsing out sewer hoses, and basically it came down to this is probably one of the best tools to use to rinse out the sewer hose, and then that in combination with this a 45-degree adapter, that's going to be able to tell you that your black tank is clear. So these are a couple of the tools that I learned to use to for the sewer system and cleaning out hoses and cleaning out the black tanks, and this is kind of what I'm using right now to keep that system maintained and working properly. So I don't think I've got anything more to add to this little kit right here. So let's go ahead and talk about the drinking hose here next. Okay, so in the last video I had the water filter connected here, and I went ahead and relocated that over to the water service spigot. And there's another thing that I wanted to talk about that I totally overlooked in the last video, and very, very important here, extremely important, probably the most important part of the system here in your water line here is this pressure regulator valve. This regulates the water pressure down to about 40 to 50 psi, and it's extremely important to have one of these. If you don't, you risk the chance of blowing out your air lines and your seals and your connections and everything else. So you got to make sure you have one of these. Make sure you get a brass one. They do sell plastic ones, which are a bunch of garbage, so don't waste your money on one of those. Get a good brass one. So that's the pressure regulator valve. The next thing here was the drinking water hose, and when I changed out the water filter yesterday, I discovered that I had a leak right here. Right there was water leaking out of the hose. So basically what happened, the hose was just trash. It was garbage. And so I ended up having to replace the entire hose. So that this drinking line hose lasted me about 9 months. So that's all I got out of one. So probably would be a good idea to carry an extra drinking water hose with you in your rig. So I didn't end up replacing it. I bought a 25-foot section, cost me $20 at Bi-Mart here. And let's go ahead and walk over to the water service, and I will show you the water filter. Okay, so over here at the water filter, I experienced another issue, which was with this flexible hose. And I went ahead and, when I reconnected everything, I ended up getting a leak exactly right here, the same location that on the other end of the hose it was leaking. So I ended up having to replace this flexible hose. And one of the things that I learned doing this is I did try to just connect the water filter to this two-way, and that wouldn't work. It was leaking water right here. So I guess these things are designed to be used with this flexible hose. So it would be a good idea to also carry an extra one of these with you in the event that this begins to spring a leak, somewhere in these connections. They're plastic, and I would also assume that this is probably special. This plastic in here is rated at, for use of drinking water, and it doesn't have any hazardous chemicals in it. So you probably wouldn't want to use a garden hose type flexible hose application. You want to keep this all the same, I would assume, this white grade drinking water hose. So that's another important thing. So like I said, I reconnected the water filter here, brand new hose, no leaks, everything is good. Another thing I do is when I replace one of these water filters, I just take a black Sharpie and I write down the date that I replaced the water filter, and then that tells me, when I need to change it again. I've been going about 3-4 months, and then I change it out. So I kind of just go by how the water tastes. I do drink the water out of this water service, and personally, I like the water. It tastes really good, and we've got pretty decent water here where I'm at this RV park. So that's a couple of things that I wanted to talk about here with the drinking water and the water filters. I'd recommend when you buy these water filters, if you go to Amazon and you can buy like a 4-pack, and I think that's the most cost-effective way to buy these. It really drops the price down when you buy these in bulk. They're very expensive to buy singly. They're about 20. I don't know. I had to break down yesterday and buy this with. I couldn't. They don't sell this separately in the store. This is like a bonus item to the water filter. So I ended up paying $25 for this water filter and this flexible hose. It was ridiculous. So just kind of a little pre-warning there. You can buy this flexible hose separately on Amazon. This is made by Camco, and they sell it separately. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the next other thing that I wanted to talk about here, which is the surge protector. Surge protector security. And one of the things that you can do is you can take one of these padlocks, these master padlocks, they're the long ones, and you can connect it through the electrical cord. And then also they've got a lot of these surge protectors have got these little loops on them here, and you can run it through there and then close the box down. And basically what you're trying to do here is just keep the honest people honest, and this is going to it's going to prevent somebody from walking off with your surge protector. This surge protector here is a $60 to $90 item here, so it's got a little bit of a street value on it. So locking your surge protector up, and like I said, the way I do it here is just real simple. I just use a padlock. You could also use a heavy duty gauge zip tie. That would work as well. That would work perfect, because like I said, you're just trying to keep the honest people honest. If they want to steal the thing, they're going to steal it. They'd have a pretty good hell of a time trying to do it with this lock on here, because I've got it going through the power box. So yeah, that's those are the other things that I wanted to cover, to discuss, to go over and follow up on. If you have a few other things that you think I missed, that you think it would be a good idea to talk about, I definitely would appreciate if you would leave a comment below and leave your thoughts and some other things that you think are important to add to this discussion. So until next time, you guys, you have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you later.